Hello everybody, my name is Dave as a party and welcome back to another video today on the FM Scout YouTube channel. This is the fifth and penultimate part of the 2026 experiment where we have almost holidayed, well it's 11 years rather than 10, but to see what, the footballing world would look like this time in about 10 years. So what we're going to do today is France that we're going to be looking at. We've already looked at England, Italy, Germany and Spain. And now we're going to be looking at France until the next episode where we take a look more in depth at nations, player of the years, etc. and the Champions League winners too. So, and then once we've done that episode, this save and database will be available on the FM Scout website. So first things first, we are going to jump into Ligue, which is the French league, and see what's been going on there. So as you can see here, PSG have absolutely romped the league this season in the 2025-26 season with 103 points, losing just one game. It would have been interesting to see if their money dried up at any point in the last 10 years or so, to see if they were still so dominant in there. The only teams that really ring a bell that aren't, regulars in there, Red Star FC. I'm trying to think, maybe Dijon, but I know they've been in there a couple of times, possibly Nantes as well, doing quite well. And Nice up there with Stade de Rennes in top six. Lille actually getting relegated as well though. So now we're going to look at the past winners, seeing who has won it over the past 10 years. If PSG have won it every year, and they basically have more or less from here onwards. Only 2 years where they didn't win it, and both years they were runners up to Monaco and Lyon. Lyon featuring in the top three quite regularly, along with Monaco and Marseille. So all the big boys have really remained intact during this experiment. Records, at least, the most time winner PSG now with 14. Just trying to see if anything else has changed much. Lowest attendance down to almost just under 2,000, which is ridiculous. Other than that, not much has changed. Bernardo Silva popping up a couple of times here, which is pretty interesting. Player-wise, top goal scorers in the last 10 years, Zlatan Ibrahimovic there, and Dorlan Pablo with just 16 goals. That must have been a dry season for goals. Filip Djordjevic got it 3 years running, which is interesting. Callum Wilson must have moved to Marseille, got 30. That is the highest amount any player has got. Jordan Ayew coming back to Ligue, grabbed 20 goals for Bordeaux. Ilkesson, Baptiste Guillaume, Ryan Barr and Gaspard Ham as well. Most goals in a match. Just the fours in there, fours and threes, which every season you get something like that. Most assists is Bernardo Silva and Alex Moreno. Most player in the matches is again Bernardo Silva dominating that, to be honest. Before as well, what's Zlatan doing with his career nowadays? He's just retired. Hasn't gone on to anything else, unfortunately. Youngest players, just 16 years of age, no one much younger as well. Fastest goals, wow, 9 seconds, coming up quite regularly. That's interesting, really is. So that's Ligue covered and all done, and now we can move on to Ligue 2 or Ligue 2 as a lot of people like to call it. So Lorient have won it with just 69 points. They lost 11 games but still won the league. That's a pretty open league, you know. It actually is. How close is that? Paris FC finishing bottom. AJ Auxerre coming down as well. A couple of teams in there which maybe I'm not 100% familiar with the French league, but it's come up and down the reputations in the last few years or so. Past winners, though, of course, it's going to be a lot different due to the fact that teams come up and down. But Lorient have been a bit of a yo-yo team. They've won it 3 times. Montpellier as well with 2 wins. Other than that, you've got the likes of Créteil Lustianos, who I've not actually heard of, to be honest. Lens, Nantes, Dijon, Troyes, AS Nancy as well. Angus getting runners-up. That Red Star team as well. Just quite interesting them. I think I've heard of them, but I'm not too familiar with them. I mean, look at that. That's a brilliant rise up the ranks. Unfortunately, of course, they're getting relegated now, but over the last, 20 years or so, they've rose from the Championnat de France amateur leagues all the way up. That's really, really impressive. But yeah, that's the last few seasons in Ligue 2. We can look at records and stuff as well. not fastest goal, top goal scorer is kind of what we're more interested in. Jamal Sarto most recently, but the top goal scorer throughout these 2 years was Andrea Rasiti, or Rat. Oh, I'm just going to say Rasiti, and then Juan Carlos Paez as well. Now, what I'm interested in as well in League, we've got this guy Ham, who's the top goal scorer for Nice, an absolutely brilliant looking player, 21 years of age with 18 finishing, wonderful physical stats as well, with 16 acceleration, brilliant mental as well, off the ball, work rate and decisions all at 17. Looks like he could be a very good player. Anyone interested in this guy? Be interested to know. No one, incredibly, but I'm sure he'd be getting snapped up in the next couple of years or so as well. It's interesting to look at regions which develop, especially in a league like France, where it's almost as if it's up there due to PSG's status. But if they didn't have that sort of money, where would they be in the world? What I'm interested to see is goal scorers, really. So Gaspard Ham there with that with those goals. And then who else you got? Not much regions. Mihai Ankel, Romanian from PSG. Wow, striker. Not scoring as many in the league. It's still 18 goals, which is pretty impressive. But wow, what a player he's rated at £46 million, which is absolutely mental. From Romania as well. You don't get that very often. He's 27 years of age, and he's mainly been at PSG most of his career now. Started at Dynamo Bucharest rather, in Romania, and moving on to Zenit St. Petersburg. So what we're going to look at now is the managers, which is probably the most interesting part. And as you can see here, let me get rid of the champion, wherever it is. There we go, national. There we go. Who manages who? So Mauricio Pochettino is PSG manager, of course, manager of Tottenham Hotspur in real life. Romain Hamouma is manager of Lyon. Philippe Cocu is manager of Marseille. Frank de Boer is manager of Monaco. Philippe Mexes, the French centre-back, is manager of Stade de Rennes. I'm not sure. Rene, I'm sorry. His manager stats aren't actually brilliant, but he's done a pretty good job at managing them there. If we quickly look at some of his stats from this season, wow, he's been in charge a long time, and his win percentage 46%, which is average. It's not too bad at all. Olivier Frappoli, manager of Nice. Unfortunately, AS Saint-Etienne have not got a manager. Steve Mandanda, the French goalkeeper, manager of FC Nantes as well, now 41 years of age. Pretty decent looking stats. Valentin Iseric, Lens manager. Michael Isabi, Montpellier manager. Fabrizio Ravanelli is manager of Bordeaux. I'm pretty confident, if I remember, the ex-Middlesbrough player. Derby, yeah, he was at Middlesbrough as well. Had a good career over in Italy. Who else? Where were we? Cedric Bocconi is Angers manager. Dominique Arribage is Toulouse manager. Johan Gabay, manager of Guingamp. Pretty solid manager stats at 40 years of age now as well. No manager for Dijon. Thibault Moulin for Ajaccio. Nicolas Palos for Stade de Reims. Hugo Lloris as Lille manager. We'll have a quick look at him. Jeremy Aliadier as well, the striker, is manager of SM Caen. And Pansy Sierek. So Hugo Lloris, of course, very good goalkeeper in real life. Now at Lille. Wonder if he stayed. Where did he go during his playing career? Stayed at Tottenham until he retired as well, which is pretty good. And then Lille, where he got relegated as manager. So, I know Jeremy Aliadier used to play for Arsenal on loan at Wolves as well, from what I remember. And he went to a couple of other clubs, Middlesbrough as well. Lorient, and he's back in... Well, where is he now? He's in Qatar, isn't he? And then he went back to France for the last few stages of his career, now 43 years of age in game. So now we're going to look at Ligue 2, see who the managers are in this division. Top Lorient, Johan Ordel. Patrice Morel is manager of Nancy. Teddy Burton is manager of RC Strasbourg. Olivier Guegen is manager of Chamois Niortas. Gaetan Baloud is manager of Valenciennes. I'm sorry again for pronunciation. Dijon Bourtelli is manager of Calais. Javier Pentecote is manager of Sedan Ardennes. Teddy Chevalier is manager of Troyes. Alexandre Dujou is manager of Tours FC. Romain Alessandrini, a good winger in real life, is manager of Sochaux. Stefan Madeira is manager of Evian. Fabien Peugeot is manager of Clermont. Thierry Froger is manager of US Cretel. Jose Pino Pino is manager of Metz. Florian Respentino is manager of Gazalec Ajaccio. Eric Champagne is manager of Le Havre. Frank Kurdilis is manager of Amiens. Benjamin Boulenga is manager of AG Auxerre. Romain Benny is manager of US Orleans. And then Cedric Carasso is manager of Paris FC, who unfortunately finished bottom. Now we're going to have a quick scour through the National League, see who is on there as well. And then we can move on to the Cups. So anyone that we know of there maybe. Patrice Evra. Wow, he's managing there. That is the only name that kind of springs to mind for me, though. It's Esse Colmar, 45 years of age now. What's he been doing with his career? 711 days in charge. He's been in charge quite a while. Not the best win percentage. Went to Porto after he finished with Juventus, but only really stayed there for a little while until he retired and became a manager. So he's been manager at quite a couple of clubs, Strasbourg and Borg Peronas as well. So he's the final manager we're going to take a look at. So there is quite a few tournaments, or cups rather, in France. So we're going to have a quick look at them. PSG winning the most recent one in Coupe de France. I'm sure they're going to be, well, it's varied a little bit, but PSG dominating again. But Lyon won the first year. PSG winning 2 years after that. Guingamp win in 18-19. PSG got it back along with Monaco. PSG, Angers getting the victory there. PSG, Monaco and PSG. Now PSG, whenever they didn't win it, didn't get to the final, so they never lost at Stade de France, where it has remained as the final throughout. Now we've got the Coupe de la Ligue, which I'm guessing is like, you know, the League Cup or the Capital One Cup in England, I'm guessing anyway. And Monaco actually won the most recent one against Lyon. So again, look at the past winners. PSG have remained mainly as the winners, but Stade de Rennais won it along with Marseille, Lens, Sedan Ardennes and Monaco as well. So that's an interesting one. Not heard of them before. In Ligue 2 now. And they must have a, or they were in Ligue 1 at the time and got relegated. So they finished there. So that's interesting. They beat Toulouse in the final there. And then finally we're going to look at the Trophy des Champions, which is almost like a community shield in England. So the champion versus the cup winner, I'm guessing. So we'll have a quick look at this one again, where PSG are mainly going to be in it, but they haven't won it as much possibly as I'd think. But they were in every match. So AS Saint-Etienne beat them in 17-18. Guingamp beat actually Monaco in 19-20. That must have been when Monaco won the league. Monaco beat PSG the season after, so they could have retained it there, but obviously they lost in that final. Angers beat PSG in 23-24, and Monaco beat PSG in 25-26, where, look where the matches are. That's crazy. Mainly in France in the early 2000s, and then in 09-10 they had it at the Olympic Stadium in Canada. Tunisia, Morocco, USA, Gabon. That's interesting that they've done that. Pretty interesting. South Korea and stuff as well. That's quite cool. Probably to interlink it a bit more with the pre-season and stuff as well, but that's quite interesting to know. I never actually knew that anyway. But guys, that is the end of the episode now. Please do drop us a like down below if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. My channel is in the link down below as well, where I'm doing an interesting save with Ajax, so you can always check that out as well. And obviously the last episode of the 2026 series is going to be up probably next week, so keep an eye out for that. Until next time guys, please do look after yourselves, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all very, very soon.